So we have my boy Graham Russell. Let's take a look at his list. So I do have a couple little side things that he had said to me that I can remember off the top of my head. He has Beastboss, Ghazghkull Thraka, a knob with wall banner, a war boss with follow me lads, and a war boss in mega armor. We have a Beast Boss, two Beast Snaggle Boy units, and then a Brick of Boys, 4 trucks, battle wagon, 3 units of Gretchen. That's where I'm at too. I really like 3 units of Gretchen. 2 units of Mega Knobs, 1 big unit for the Big Mac and Mega Armor. Then we have 2 units of small Mega Knobs. One's for Ghaz, one's for, actually, I don't know. I should have asked him what the other one's for. And 2 units of Stormboys, maybe for scoring and secondary missions. Really hilarious. One thing that he did say to me when I asked him, how'd you feel about this list? He said he didn't like the boys in the battle wagon, and that the last 2 games he actually disembarked them and just, not disembarked them, sorry, started them outside of the battle wagon, just straight up on the table in the deployment zone. And then he put 2 units of Grots into the battle wagon. And he said that really won him the game, actually. So if you want to hear more about that, you can ask him in our Discord. I'm sure he'll go into you gets about it. I love the beast bosses. Everybody loves the beast bosses for the dev wounds. You know, if you're running into some things in the meta, like all these different demons that are starting to feel a little bit more confident, the Tyranids that are starting to feel more confident in their own ways, maybe a bunch of little Tau transports and stuff, the beast boss just runs into all these things and chews them up and spits them out. Or this done-ending swarm, you're like, yeah, right, bro. I'll punch the crap out of you. So let's take a look at his matchups real quick. He did say he had a lot of really good games and really close games, just so you guys know. So we have Imperial Knight, Canis Rex, super powerful, and Citrus Knight Apostro. Oh my god, I don't even know what that guy is. I might look at him in a second. Armiger Warglaive. 3 Warglaives. Interesting, I guess. Those are all the same, right? And then we have Caladius Assassins and Evisaur Assassins. You know, this is what we kind of expected. I didn't expect Misbegit, so I'm gonna have to look him up real quick in a bit. But Canis Rex is awesome. You know, this comes down to how good is the Knight player. A lot of the time, maybe it's just casual player. He doesn't understand that you can just run him over, and you run him over. Having a bunch of 2 beast bosses on your list versus this guy and Ghaz is like, oh my god, just annihilating when he does close the distance. And even what makes it nice is the beast boss unit can go out there and here's one of your little knights, and then when you respond, you know, maybe I fight you in death, maybe I countercharge you with something else, and then my whole green tide comes at you and just runs you over. So great job, Russell Graham, on that one. Now his second game, I'm sure this was one of his tough games too, because it's 66-point score. So let's take a look at that. We have the Eldar. So Eldar is super annoying all the time. Let's take a look. So Artark Wayleaper with the Phoenix Gen to come back in life. Avatar of Cain. Farsia, the Troop Master, or Trope Master, whatever freaking thing's called. And then Yavrin, a Star Weaver, a Wave Serpent, Fire Prism, Night Spinners, Ranger, Shadow Spectre, the Trope, another troop, a troop. Sorry, these are Harlequins from what I understand. And of course, we have the Night Spinner for that reduction. We have the Fire Prisms for all that shooting. And then interesting, just transport with the Wave Serpent. This is one of those things that they're going to have shenanigans for moving. They actually do have some fighting. If they are smart with their Yavrin, they can teleport all over the table somewhere when they shoot and kill something, but later they can't do it all game anymore. It's just one for how their data sheet's been changing. So it's a bit more manageable, but just understand they still have ability to just play the mission and have just more units, which is better for them. And it's a different kind of challenge for Orks in a way, because you're like, then you guys still have a lot of different units with this and OC. Yeah, you still have a couple monsters here. So be aware of what they can do. They're still very powerful. And in the right hands and the right player, they are a problem. Now, as for his loss, this is what was interesting, like we talked about earlier, is he went into Astra Militarum. So like we spoke about earlier, here's Laura Solar Alliances again. Something I didn't mention earlier was that he does give orders to vehicles as well. He's one of the few ways you can actually do that. For vehicles reliably. Ursula Creed allows more orders. Then we have tank commanders, Catachans to scout into the middle of the table, infantry squad, another Bulgren squad, Kazakhin come off the table ledges or give themselves double orders possibly. And then here we're talking about the indirect package. He says, I have 2 Manticores and 2 Basilisks, just 1 Scout Sentinel. But this is the thing where these guys can get orders. The Manticore can possibly reliably pop one of your trucks, and then the Basilisk can go into put the other firepower into it. So let's take a look at the Basilisk, because I don't think it's very unlikely that you see more Basilisks because of their Earthshaker round. So in your shooting phase, after this model has shot, if 1 or more of those attacks made it a Earthshaker cannon scored hits against an enemy infantry unit until the end of your opponent's next turn, that unit's shaken. While a unit is shaken, subtract 2 from its movement characteristics, subtract 2 from its advance and charge rolls. That means if the Manticore does disembark you and then it does just chip away at some of your knobs or any unit that's inside of there, maybe your big 20-man unit of boys, for example, that unit of boys is drastically dwindled in movement. So keep that in mind. Like we said with the Scout Sentinels, they're going to scout 9 inches if one of them get off. The Manticore, which is 3 flat damage, strength 10, and like we always like to said earlier from this Christian told us in the chat was Lord Soliantis giving him +1 to hit, Scout Sentinels possibly giving him +1 to rerolls, or possibly even hitting on 2s. It becomes outrageous if of course that's worst case scenario, but even then they're still putting enough shots into you because the Manticore gets heavy. Guard are just an issue. It's one of those things where I'm personally thinking I need Mandos to start taking their presence in the table and something like a trike to run up in their face and kind of soak some of their damage, because if they're just selectively shooting everything they want at will, they're just going to solely dissect you and kill you. Not sure that it's the answer yet, but really they're just hard for every Ork player no matter what. So his fourth game is against Adepta. So great job here because these girls are annoying. And Magifier, Junith, and Morganval. Morganval awesome. Junith pretty good too. So we have Battle Sister Squads. Battle Sister Squad, 3 Battle Sisters, only 1 Rhino, 2 units of Arcoflagellants, but one of them is the big brick. 3 Castigators, which these guys have like strength 10, -1, flat 3 damage cannons, which is good enough for Orks in a lot of cases. We have the Celestine of Sacrosanct. Not sure how good or useful these guys are right now. Maybe I'm missing their compounding effects, but hey, it happens. I'm sure they have some kind of use of that. He wouldn't have brought them. Exorcist, Paragon Warsuits, very reliable killing potential here when you put Morgan Vol in there, and it becomes a good amount of volume of fire and damage multiplier. It's just good, decent amount of durability, which is something that just sisters don't have. So then when you're like, hey, I'm going to go commit to that unit, they can keep playing the mission everywhere else because these guys are just looking to stack up points. We have a Ripentia squad for the countercharging. Seraphim squad. These girls are just looking to come in, shoot, and then move. I believe Seraphims move after they shoot with their little hand flamers. So they just want to go jump onto an objective and keep scoring all over the place. You don't see the Crusaders and stuff like that, so it's not like the most annoying version of sisters that you might see, but which I've seen, you're like, what? Those 2 dead to 25 points in the conf table edges? That's super weird. So hey, but shout out to you for taking out the sisters, because that's a difficult game regardless. And he said he had a lot of really good games here, close games. And then we have World Eaters. Angron, Karn the Betrayer, Lord of Makades, and Master of Executioners. 2 units Jackals, Zerker squad, another Zerker squad, one's for Karn, one's for the Master of Execution, probably big ones for Execution. World Eater, 2 Rhinos, and then 1 big unit of Exalted 8-bound, followed by 2 other 8-bound units. One's Exalted and the other one's. So I think it's just, yes, I understand that a really skilled player can still be hard to deal with for World Eaters, but like I always say, it really comes down to, are you managing your CP correctly here? And are you understanding their threat ranges? So great job to Graham Russell. Whoa, for my kid doing great in our Discord. Feel free to reach out to him and say congratulations, or to just pick his brain because he's a cunning lad.